So I'm playing some evening Balatro like one does. And I had one of those runs where I got the right things at the right time, got some negative jokers, got some favorites, and had a successful run. And it was one of those runs where I'm like, I'll click endless and go a little more and see what can come of it. And I came across an interesting moment here where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna, I got these four of a kind jokers, so I'm gonna play four kings. But then I, wondered about something here. Right now, I have the cards organized in kind of the default manner where all the times mult are all on the right, because then you can add mult and then multiply all of it at the end. But then I thought about this joker here. Brainstorm copies the ability of leftmost joker. At a glance, I think I can't copy the ability of a times mult joker because, you put those on the right. Like, in order of operations, you're not going to get the benefit of adding 25 mult. But eventually, I couldn't help but wonder if you drag this family joker all the way to the left, then you get to do times 4 mult twice. But you don't get to multiply this 25 mult here because it's going to multiply 4 and then it's going to add 25 because it goes from left to right. So I got to the point where I'm like, I want to know what's actually the difference here. Which joker should I drag to the left to copy with Brainstorm? And so I started getting to work. And here we go. I have family at the start. And I had to be really careful with this because basically once I add the mult effects and the chips of the kings, since my sadly leveling up pair only went so far, my level 6 4 of a kind, 2, 10 plus 22, add 40 chips and add 8 mult from the initial scoring of the 4 kings. That's where you get 250 times 30. And then I had to be really careful here because if I put family at the start, which initially I thought, I don't know, putting a times 4 at the start just didn't feel right to me. So I thought this is kind of the underdog one, But then I look here, you get a nice times 4 of the 30 right away. And then you also then add the 26. And then you multiply all that. But then I realized the key thing about this game is the final operation is always to multiply whatever the mult turns into by the chips at the very end. So that's why I had to make sure to put these brackets around the entire thing because you have to make sure that everything you get that goes in that red mult column is all going to get multiplied by 250. So I was very careful about that. But then that's actually pretty crazy because that means you're multiplying by 4 and then you're adding another big number all to the mult. And then if the calculations are correct, I'm getting 250 times 162,000, 40 million. So yeah, that seems good. But what about the tried and true one where you put family at the end and you put swashbuckler at the start, you get the plus mult? At first I saw this calculation, I thought that looks good. Because look, you add all the mult together, you get a nice big initial number added together, and then you multiply it a bunch. I thought maybe it'll be better, but if my calculations are correct, you multiply by 4,212 instead of 162,240. You get a measly 1 million. You get a 40th of what you would get. So this little difference that I was curious about and I was leaning toward that maybe putting family at the start is stupid and would be worse. When I did the math, it seems to be otherwise. But now the moment of truth. Am I right? Did I make some stupid error? Am I misunderstanding something about how Balatro works? Because here we got it. Family at the start. Then it's going to add some mult. And then it's going to multiply again. And now I'm realizing, no, maybe that does make sense. You multiply by 4 right away. And then you multiply even more after adding to that number. I think that's the trick, that all of that happens in the red column before getting multiplied by 250. let's see if we get the exact number. And that is it. 4 of a kind. Here we go. Oh, I threw away my blue seal. What the fuck? Anyway, fine. We'll look at the score. Come on. Come on. Come on. Damn it. Well, after all of that, I mean, it is more than 1 million. But it wasn't 40 million. Well, it was the thought that counts. Assuming I'm right about this one, it was still better. But that's the fun of trying to number crunch Balatro. Thanks for watching. And bye-bye. One more very quick thing. Very quick, important, urgent update. Mew is very cute. Also, apart from that, the paper she is standing on is shameful. Should absolutely be ashamed because, well, number one, when I put the calculation in the calculator, I swear I got 30 times 4 is 120. And then for some reason, I did like times 120. I did like 120 times everything instead of plus. But even more still, I got too mathy about it. I'm like, the way I wrote it down, you know, when I see this math, it's like, do all the multiplication first, order the operations. So basically, all of this gets multiplied into some huge thing, and then you add it to here. But that's not how Balatro works. I mean, Balatro has its own order of operations, but it literally is just from left to right. 120 plus 26, multiply what you have at that point by 4, then by 2, then by 2, then by 3.25. I got too mathy the way I wrote this. Did it the way you would do it in school. So this isn't really the way you should write it. It should be, frankly, well, now I kind of need to do parentheses here. And then these are like uber parentheses now. And there, because at the end of the day, the whole point of Balatro is everything is done from left to right to the existing sum. Yeah, whoopsie. That explains it. Ta-ta. Hi, kitties. This part of the video is just to show how cute these kitties are, because everyone needs to see that, because they're so cute and sweet.